Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Tom. It's time for another Bible story. And this week we're going to read about Moses and the Israelites when they went into the wilderness and they ran out of food and they ran out of water. What's going to happen to them? Well, we're going to read a Bible story and see how God takes care of them. Let's go read that Bible story. After the children of Israel came through the Red Sea, they went into the wilderness of Sin. And the people of Israel grumbled. They complained. They whined to Moses and Aaron. Moses, if only the Lord had killed us back in Egypt. Back in Egypt, we had pots full of meat to eat. We had all the bread that we want. But you bring us out here in the desert and we don't have anything to eat. And we're going to starve. We're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you. The people shall go out and gather a portion every day. I will test them. I want to see if they will walk in my law or not." So Moses and Aaron said to the people, "At evening you shall know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt." In the evening, quail, birds, came and covered the camp. They flew in, and there was thousands and thousands of quail that came into the camp. And the people caught the quail, and they were able to eat them for supper. Let me show you a picture. Here's a picture of the quail, the birds flying into the camp, and the people, the children of Israel, capturing the birds so that they could have supper that night. And in the morning, dew lay around the camp. And when the camp was covered with dew, the dew then dried up. There was a fine flake-like thing that was on the ground. It was like frost on the ground. The people said to another, "What is it? What is this white stuff?" And Moses said to them, "It is bread. The Lord has given this to you to eat. The Lord has commanded, gather of it, each one of you, as much as you can eat." And the people of Israel did so. They gathered the manna, some more, some less, but they all had enough to eat. Let me show you a picture. Here's a picture of the children of Israel camped out, and they wake up in the morning and they see the white stuff on the ground, which is the manna, and they go out and pick it up so that they can eat it for that day. And Moses said to them, "Let no one keep any of the bread over till the morning." But they did not listen to Moses. Some kept part of it till morning, and it had worms in it, and it stank. And Moses was angry with them. Now the people of Israel called its name, this white stuff, they called it manna. The taste of it was like wafers made with honey. A little while after God began sending manna and quail to the people, he told them to break camp and to start walking again. They still needed to get to the land God had promised to give them. The people traveled as far as a place called Rephidim, but there was no water there. Right away, the people started complaining to Moses. "Moses, give us water to drink. What are you doing? Are you trying to kill us and our children and all of our livestock of thirst? We're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're gonna die." Moses tried to remind the people of all the miracles that God had already done to take care of them, but they just wanted to complain. "Quiet," Moses cried. "Why are you arguing with me? Why are you complaining against God?" The people kept complaining, so Moses turned to God and asked, "What do I do with these people? They're going to come after me with stones." God said, "Take your shepherd's staff, the same one that you used when you struck the waters of the Nile River, and I turned them to blood. call the leaders of the people to come with you and walk ahead of the people. I will meet with you by a large rock near Mount Sinai. Hit the rock with your staff, and I will make water pour out of it. The people will be able to drink as much water as they want. Then they will stop complaining." Moses did what God told him to do, and the people had all the water they wanted. Moses named the place Massa, which means the place of testing, and Meribah, which means the place of arguing, because the people argued with Moses by asking whether or not God was going to take care of them. Wow, what an interesting Bible story. When Moses and the Israelites, even though they had witnessed all these great, powerful things that God had done, and they had witnessed all the 10 plagues upon the Egyptians, and they had gone across the Red Sea when Moses and God parted the waters and they could go through it on dry land. And then when the Egyptians tried to do that, then God caused the water to come down on the Egyptians, and the Israelites were saved. So even though the Israelites had seen all this great power of God, when they get out into the wilderness and things start getting a little hard, they don't trust God anymore. How interesting is that? I wonder what they were thinking. Hello, this is Mr. Tom with television station BIBLE coming to you from the Sinai Peninsula out in the wilderness. Today we're going to be speaking with one of those Israelites that came out of Egypt and see what they were thinking. Hi, Mr. Israelite. Would you mind sharing with us what your experience has been coming out of Egypt? Well, we saw the amazing power of God. We saw him do 10 plagues upon the Egyptians, and then when we crossed the Red Sea and God divided the waters and we walked through on dry land, and then when we got to the other side and the Egyptians were going to capture us and they went through there, God caused the waters to fall back on them. So we saw the amazing power of God. And so we just thought that when we got out here in the desert that things would be easy, that we would have no problems because we were following God and that he was with us. And so we just thought it would be easy. But we get out here in the desert and we run out of food, and then we run out of water. And so we didn't know what to think about that, and so we started complaining about it. Very interesting. Would you mind telling us also what have you learned from this experience? Well, maybe I overreacted just a little bit because God was taking care of us, and I've learned that I need to just trust him more and know that no matter what, God is always with us and he loves us and he cares for us. And I just need to remember that. I need to show a little faith is what I need to do. I think that's what God is teaching me. Well, that manna and quail sounds really interesting. Could you tell us what that tasted like? Well, this manna is pretty good stuff. God would send these thin white flakes on the ground every morning, and we would go out and pick them up, and then we would eat them, and we called this our bread. We called it manna. And then in the evening, God would send flocks of quail everywhere across the camp, and then we would go out and capture them, and we'd have some pretty good meat for supper time. But you know what I like the best? I like these wings. I think there's potential in these wings. This Bible story teaches us that God is always with us in the good times and in the bad times as well. But he never forsakes us, and he's always watching over us. What an amazing Bible story. Thank you for letting me read to you another Bible story this week. Remember that God loves you so much, and I'll see you next week.